I think it's a good idea, and this is one of the reasons, it's one of the reasons why I vote for you all the time. I mean, for about 35 years.
Glad to
I
really
mean,
get you everything.
no, honest to God, just as sort of an aside, I mean, you've always been able to bring us back to reality and try and get us focused on things. Um, And I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit here as far as uh, people's ability to commit the time necessary to get it done. I mean, we have, let's put out, a lot of standing committees. I mean, technically, we have a finance committee. This is pretty much one of their charges, is to assist in doing things like this. I mean, they're an arm of town meeting, and their job is an advisory committee to town meeting and be the fiscal watchdogs, of town government. But they're overburdened with time. We're overburdened. You have your finance policy team, again, which is additional time and resources, away from the individuals. And I think this may provide an opportunity for other members in the community who have some expertise, who are willing to step forward for a short period of time rather than a long period of time to come in and help effectuate some real change. And I think those are the people we should be reaching out to. It's just a question of how are we going to dovetail it in with the current structure, because as you said, we need the links with town hall and the school administration in order to get the information on a timely basis and quickly, and make sure that there's a level of cooperation that's going to be required. So, as far as the structure of it, personally, I think we should reach out to the community ASAP, see who would be willing to step forward, who's not on a board committee, a commission, who may have the level of expertise that could really assist us in this, and then I would have them report and work with the finance policy team, which are the chairs and vice chairs, the town administrator, superintendent, business manager, and finance director. Because there's your core.
That's an interesting thought.
That's the core, and then have this group of people report and work with them. I think that way there you're going to have the quickest link to the requisite information they need and commitment.
And you've got all.
And you've got all the major, everybody in the loop, and also be kept in the loop in relation to what these people are looking to do and assist you to do it. And so if we can get some outside people who are in the community who can give us this short period of window of time to help effectuate some real change, I think something good can come out of it.
Interesting thought, Steve. Yes,
Alan Walton,
Alan.
58 Northbridge Drive. I'm speaking for myself, not for the finance committee. But I think your basic idea is very good. I think the ability of the committee to be able to stand back and look at things, see where there might be some operating efficiencies, see where there might be other revenue opportunities, and so forth, is excellent. I think we have a group of people that
I'm sorry?
I think we have a group of people that have the requisites that you spoke of that are sitting there right now and ready to go. And that's the FinCom. And again, I don't speak for the FinCom. I don't know if my partners would say don't even commit us or anything else. But I do think that should be strongly considered. I think the Finance Committee is ready to go. They have budget knowledge. They have knowledge of the town and its operation, departments. And perhaps it's an opportunity for the FinCom to be able to be more proactive in things and not always be in a reactive mode. So I think that should be considered.
Thank you.
Bob?
So what we're looking now to do is...
The finance committee has the full authority to do this on their own now.
Yeah, right.
You have full authority under the charter to do it. You can undertake any type of investigation. You can do anything you want in relation to the budget. I mean, you could do it already. And I think what's being said is that we haven't been able to do that because of the time requirements. The FinCom is busy reacting to things. I mean, you also do some proactive things too over the years, and have over the years.
The time period you're speaking of is probably a fairly low period for us, isn't it?
But again, you have the authority to do so anyway.
What I like about Steve's thoughts is that, we've made a lot of inroads over the past few years with the financial planning team, because, we meet at least monthly with a couple of members of the finance committee, school committee, board of selectmen, and town finance director, school business manager, town administrator, and the school superintendent. As a result, I think there's been an improvement in communications. To get some people that are willing to put some real effort in through and come back with some suggestions for October, if we can find some additional resources, I think we'll accomplish a lot, because we all get wrapped up in our day-to-day dealings, and as committee members, I think, we all have other responsibilities too. It's not like this is a full-time job, although
Or high
there are
paying one.
times.
Or high paying one at
Or a
that.
high-paying job, for that matter, but I'm just thinking that, what has really sparked my interest is the fact that during this whole cycle, and it's all been about schools, and there's been a lot of focus in that area, but there's been a lot of interesting suggestions that have come forth, many of which have just, fallen by the discussion wayside, primarily because there's just no time to react to them. And I think that, if we don't start to look at those things now, they won't be in place for 2010 or 2011. If we're going to affect change, we also have the opportunity of the fact that we're putting in the munis system. It's impacting school and town. And maybe we need to examine that a little more closely and say, what are the things that we're doing? It's interesting how municipal government does certain things. As a member of the Hillview Commission, there was a period of time when our office manager left, and we hadn't filled a position, and I was chair, and I spent the time each week dealing with the paperwork that had to come over to town hall. And I could never understand why there had to be 4 copies of this or that. And it seemed to me that, we kept a separate set of books over there on QuickBooks because we wanted to know where we were almost instantly, right? Well, with the new munis system, we ought to be able to do that. Maybe you eliminate a lot of this extra paperwork, and that leads to an efficiency. And I don't want to keep picking on the finance side of things, but if we look at what's going on, we talked about putting kiosks back 3 or 4 years ago on the counters out here.
Right.
We did the wiring for it, but the kiosks still aren't there. And although the website has taken some of that weight off, right, a kiosk there might prevent the need for someone to answer the counter and do a lot of legwork when the individual going to the counter can look up something. I mean, these are all kinds of things that I think need a little bit of push to get implemented.
Well, are you
And,
looking to vote the existence of the group, or just a conceptual idea so we can move forward?
This is first round discussion to get people thinking, to collect some input. And what I want to do, based on the fact that we're putting an override question on, I want to get this thing kicked off so that after May election, we know what the baseline is, and we can put some work into creating a pro forma budget and a pro forma revenue plan, looking out for a couple of years, with some help from the school department and the town side. A lot of the basic work has been done. Make some projections, make some, create a set of assumptions. Town growth is going to be 3.5%. We know that it's right in that ballpark. We know that the school, based on the salary schedules they have, their budget on a status quo is going to be 5.5%, give or take a little bit. So we take that baseline, crank those numbers out, look at our revenue plan, determine what the gap is, and say, okay, now what are what we can do about revenue? What changes, what addition can we add? What are the potential benefits from GIC? Because, there's some effort that has to be put into making that happen. It's not a matter of getting the numbers, it's a matter of then negotiating with our unions. But we can start to do these things now and close the gap. And then, if it's $500,000 left, then we say, okay, now we got to start looking at what structural changes, because we can't squeeze any more revenue out, that we need to come up with a balanced budget next year. Yes, Don.
I think irrespective of the gap, that we need to look at structural changes in how we do business. And I wouldn't let the gap drive how far we go with investigating how we can be doing things differently. It would be awfully nice that we could actually change how we're doing business and generate more savings than we actually need to fund the gap. Might actually lower our costs. So the gap's important. I think that Joe mentioned that, you probably could guess that the gap is going to be $1 million. You're probably going to be within spitting distance of what it is. So the idea I would think of this committee would be to look at how we're doing business.
Yeah, I mean, even if you generate more than $1 million, there's always use for it.
That's even better.
Yeah, there's always use for it, no matter what.
Don't
Yeah.
stop.
So let's, what are we gonna do? We
Well,
get a motion to-
the reason why I talk about the gap is that it creates a target to which you aim at, Sometimes when you have no target to aim at, you don't get to where you need to be, so,
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
Yeah, I think we should put the call out now for help. And again, I think rather than, and I hopefully we're going to get some people that'll be interested, and really have some expertise that can help assist us, and not willing to, or can't afford to make a commitment to be on the Finance Committee, or willing to put themselves into the political arena and run for office and do things like that. So if we give it a finite thing, like an October town meeting report, it gives people an understanding as to the time commitment to get us to a certain point. And simultaneously, if the FinCom wants to take on some more responsibility and run tandem or run with it too, that's fine, But I think we should put the call out now, see what we get for a response, and the types of people that do respond, and then go with it, and initially set it up to meet with the finance team initially, and again, it can expand, it can become an arm of the FinCom. Doesn't matter to me, but I think it's a,
I don't have a problem with that, it's a good
but
idea.
I think, if you want, I think, I don't know if we need a motion, but, I move that we put the call out for additional help to bring your idea to fruition, and then,
Motion by Mr. O'Leary, do I hear a second by Mr. Harris?
Are we going to, is it too early to set a number of people? Or?
I think I'd wait and see what the response is.
Select
Yeah,
a
okay.
list.
All right,
I
no,
mean,
I'm only asking.
yeah, I know, I mean, if we get 5,
Agreed.
right, if we get 25, all the better, but,
Well, that's what I mean, though, if we do, and I guess I have to ask you, Bob, if we get 25, is it gonna be a committee at 25? I mean, maybe it's too early.
yeah, I think it's
Too
a
early
little
to ask
early to
that,
tell.
but-
I don't know what the response is gonna be, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm opposed to 25, I just,
Tricia, you had your hand up.
Just a comment, kind of following up on everything, as far as, I think the idea is good, but I think that the funnel that it should go back into, instead of being the finance planning team, should be the finance committee.
we're
And-
part of it.
And I think for a very basic reason, and it brings up something that Mr. Vino said with the whatever report, that, it's looked at without balance. That if it goes to the finance committee, there's a level of balance there that there isn't, call it partisanship, call it whatever you want. But that it's more of a, I guess, a level playing field, bringing it back to the FinCom and let FinCom funnel that information instead of the finance planning team. I think that it would create more of a feel of balance to the community.
At this point, I'm not overly concerned about the findings of this committee being filtered.
I'm not saying
No,
filtered.
no, but I think that's probably what, I mean, everybody, we run for office, so we have some sort of a political sense to it. School committee, same way. FinCom is appointed independent of the moderator appoints, and that is the independent body, and that's a good thing. But I think if we're really going to effectuate and really hear the change a little bit more quickly and get a quicker reaction to it, again, it doesn't have to necessarily be a positive reaction to things. I think the makeup of the finance team is probably the best. You're going to get a little bit of everything, maybe a little pushback, maybe a little bit of encouragement, maybe a little push the other way. And I think that's good.
You also make the contacts to get the information you
Right.
need.
And again, I
Finance
think,
committee, you're gonna be able to get the contacts to the school committee, you're gonna be able to contacts to all the groups. But I mean, I think that can be decided, if we're saying, let's go out to the people, find out what you get for response, and then we can vote to
we
make
can
up
tweak
the
it
committee.
later on, but I think we should move now rather than wait for the election and all
So
this.
you're proposing we put an advertisement in the paper?
Put an advertisement in the paper, and again, if you work with Bob as far as the what we're looking for specifically.